I'm Isyander.
And I'm Koda.
And today we're going to be taking a slight left turn. We're going to be talking about SCPs.
Just a slight?
You know what? They're fairly similar, except the numbers are far more restrained. Like over here, you will see like...
This is more of like an Earth level rather than a galactic level.
I mean, there's doors that lead to other dimensions. So, like, I wouldn't say necessarily Earth, but like...
So this is more modern day...
It's more restrained than 40K.
This is more...
Which is saying literally nothing.
This is more like modern day Lovecraftian horror.
You've got it in one. It's kind of like it's a catch-all term for a bunch of creepypastas, all written with that specific lens of eldritch horror. It's that Lovecraftian horror, but instead of the, like the you and me's of the situation who just see like the Cloverfield monster, and are dealing with that situation as average Joes, it is instead this very clinical, like these are the men in suits who have to deal with this. Yeah. And the ways they deal with it.
It's a combination of like Lovecraftian cosmic horror with the Men in Black.
And a little bit of government bureaucracy.
Every time I think SCP, I think the video game Control. I really love Control.
I haven't played it.
You haven't played it? If you like SCP, you should play it.
I just
because it all revolves around the U.S. federal government Bureau of Control, where you are basically tasked with cataloging, organizing, and containing various artifacts or phenomena that...
Yes. So you're already pretty primed for this then. You know the basic gist here. It is, you show up, you put your punch card in. Oh, there's the acid monster. All right, well, time to write this one down. And it is things that to most people would have them howling and screaming, and to you, you're just like sat there like, drinking your coffee.
God, somebody left the mailbox open and now the entire building is filled with mail.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Actual level and control.
I believe it. It's very, very... That's very... Okay, I need to play that game. It's very, very convoluted because unlike 40K, there's no like hard... there's no hard books that come out about this. This is very... there are, but it's very fan... run and fan upkept, and there's a lot of fans, and I'm not gonna lie, some of them are good at writing, some of them need to be published, and others there's thousands of them, they can't all be good. I'm gonna be honest.
The longest piece of literature was a Smash Brothers fanfiction. It no longer is. I think it was eclipsed by something else.
What went longer than the Bible?
Yeah, it's longer than the Bible.
From Genesis to Revelations. Yep. Seriously?
Yep, there's a Super Smash Brothers fanfiction that is longer than the Holy Bible.
Multiple authors or just the one?
Just the one.
Sure. Yeah.
And you wouldn't believe that it was eclipsed recently by something else.
You'll put it up, whatever it was. So the way you said like the name in Control, like I actually
the United States federal government Bureau of Control,
right? That's very good. That makes sense. I actually quite like that. The SCP one doesn't work very well because it's either their slogan, which is secure, contain, protect, which is their tagline. It's
SCP,
right? Yeah. Secure, contain, protect, very solid. Or special containment procedures. Neither of which are good names for a group.
No, it's not really. Like the Federal Bureau of Control is really good. I like that. But naming your bureau out of what you do is kind of...
Now, to be fair, in everything ever, they call themselves the Foundation.
Okay.
Right.
That's better.
Right.
That's better.
Like that's
giving Men in Black vibes because, of course, the Men in Black just call themselves the Men in Black.
Right. That's the exact vibe. When it started, because this is written entirely by fans, anywhere from yesterday to like the 17th century.
I feel like that adds to the lore.
It really does add to it because it's like, how long have they been doing this?
I'm gonna keep bringing up Control this entire episode.
Yes, pretty much. It's your closest.
It's like the oldest house in the game is older than the Bureau. They just adopted it.
Yep, I fully believe
exists.
It's that kind of a thing.
And so the Bureau of Control has maybe existed forever, but
well, and you're gonna hear about some of these You're going to hear about some of these if we keep doing episodes on this. And these guys have had to have been in business for a while, is what I'm going to say. If they're kind of containing some of this stuff, this has been a problem for a couple of centuries. You know, like,
I mean, cosmic horrors
didn't just show
don't just
up.
exist because we are here to write about them.
Exactly. Well, one of them actually shifts because of the way we write about it.
That's funny.
That one's very fun. We'll get to that one later as well. They are not just horrible for horrible's sake. They are just kind of... It's a very detached perspective from everything, you know? And with that detached perspective, you will see casualty counts that are just written about, like, you know, it was a Tuesday. It was a Tuesday. That just happened. You'll see procedures that are real bad. And I don't think I can cover here, honestly.
Such as the femur breaker? Is that one of them?
110-Montauk. You don't know what that is. They know what that is.
No.
It's bad. It is... I can't say. I actually can't say. There's no...
Is it not safe for YouTube or not safe for my mental health? Or is it both?
It's just going to be a flashbang for them. I promise you I'm probably never doing an episode on that. I
Cool.
promise you now. There's a and so
it's a Demonculaba level threat.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah. And so they will do what is needed to secure, contain, and protect. And that's where, like, the evil of the Foundation comes in. It is doing what's needed, shy of nuking things.
The road to hell is
Sometimes.
paved in good intentions, and they have very good intentions.
Well, it's more like the door to hell is in the basement, and somebody has to keep it shut, man. Somebody has to keep it shut. And so if that requires 5 orphanages disappearing every year, charge it. Charge it.
It's better than opening the door to hell.
It's better than opening the door to hell. Like, if there was literally a highway to hell, they would just route people there occasionally and then block it off for the rest of the year. Call it good. Keep it contained.
Yep.
That's perfectly fine. And so there's kind of like a standardized format. You'll see this come in. This is the item number. This is where you're going to see, like, it's, you know, all of them are numbered. Every single one is numbered. And you cannot pick a random number that just looks cool. Like, there's internal rules. And if any personnel are found picking numbers that look cool or thematically tie in, you will be reprimanded for it.
You gave it more to feed on.
I like the number system because, again, it really helps. It when you're reading these, you can get into it. It feels perfect when they're written correctly. It's just a pain to talk about some. Like, it's really hard to explain these things when you are like, oh yeah, like 5,000 is the best one I've ever read, and it's like, okay, dude, come on, you know. So I, in my personal life, and today, will be whipping out every nickname I have available. I'll be whipping out every nickname I have available because some of them are like. Some of them have good nicknames. Some of them have terrible nicknames. You'll get to see.
Some of them are named like the femur breaker, and then there's Jerry.
Honestly, yeah. No, you, up top. Yeah, you got it in one. Then next up, you'll see their class, and it just ranges on how difficult it is to contain. That it is. Not necessarily its
this
power.
This is its power, kind of its power level. But
no,
not really.
because there's some very powerful things they can contain safely.
And
there's some moderate inconveniences they can't contain.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Like there are a couple things in Control that are like put in the maximum security area, not because they are deadly, but just because it'll get out.
It's just gonna get out
easily.
Yeah, and then after that, the first thing you're gonna see is how we contain it. You know, the special containment procedures, and I like this so much because it is like seeing the villains work before you meet them, and so there's this real like sense of dread when you're reading about. Why do you need 5 tungsten doors? Why do you need 5 tungsten doors? I just got a number and a class and 6 tungsten doors? Why do you need this many, you know? And then obviously next up you're going to get the description of it. Like, this is where like the dossier of what we know about it. Some of them you cannot describe physical characteristics. So because you got to get kind of creative, you know what I mean?
It's kind of like the what is it? The Euclidean or non-Euclidean geometries that is described in a lot of cosmic horror, which doesn't, if I remember correctly, just doesn't make sense as a sentence.
And so you've got that in one.
The point.
Yeah, you've got that in one. Sometimes they just like are non-corporeal. So like, and then there's other times where you just should not describe that. Like my favorite example is I'm just gonna drop a number because I have to 2521, which. Look at its entry. It is entirely in pictograms. And it has all of the instructions. And do you want to know why it's in pictograms? Can you figure out why?
If it is I assume if it is imaged, something bad happens.
Just follow. Look what Homeboy does, right? Mm-hmm. And it grabs what he wrote down, knowing about it, because it does not seem to like.
It doesn't want to get him. It just wants to get the information about it.
And so, like, note what happens when he's the guy who has that information.
Then it gets him.
I love this so much. It's so creative. Like,
funny.
There are some genuinely... Oh, and it's also known as just like that.
Morse code? I think... Is that Morse code?
I'm not sure.
Short, short, long, short, 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 long, short, short, long, short, long.
Yeah.
I think. Nope.
And so
that last long, that was a parenthesis.
You cannot... Like, these things have rules, and they do stick within them, and they commit to the bit so hard. Like, you will find little references here and there that just give you the exact kind of organization this is. Like, you will discover, like, oh yeah, passively they have like a wing, and they donate very, very, very much to educating and training doctors, and, you know, screening them as they go through, and they occasionally pick a couple and go, no Hippocratic oath for you. Do you wonder why those doctors went to med school for free?
I wonder.
You wonder, right?
I wonder.
Or like they will have like the Milgram obedience test is my favorite one, you know? Like
the Milgram experiments?
Yeah. It's so good. And there's stuff in here, because I've been kind of into this for a while, that used to terrify tiny me. Like, terrify tiny me. I had honestly completely forgotten about this until like putting this together.
Very recently putting this video together.
Yeah, and I was looking through, because sometimes they run contests, and like the contest for 001 is still happening, and so like what they're doing right now is like, hey, this is classified. Do not look any further. Do not look any further. Do not look any further. And then you'll see like this image, and it's like a mimetic kill device. And I remember being a kid, and this kind of a thing would like make tiny me float clean away from that desk as far as my tiny legs could take me, and like grab a broom and try and shut my computer that way. Because I was like, I don't look at it. And like, that's not the only one too. There's like the one I distinctly remember really, really, really messing with me was the Reagan one, which we'll cover later.
The what?
We're gonna cover a lot.
The what?
Yeah, there's a Reagan one.
Cool.
Yeah, that's just a thing. I don't know if we can actually put footage of that one, but because it's fun. It's fun.
What do you mean by fun? Do you mean?
You'll see. We're gonna cover some of their.
Is it yellow exclamation mark, or is it just like content claimed?
You will see.
Okay,
is what I'm gonna say. We're gonna cover some of their greatest hits. Obviously, we can't cover all their greatest hits because there's a lot. Like, there's thousands of these, and I would say there's at least 1,000 good ones. At least, I'd say probably more than that.
There are thousands of them, so
yeah,
it's got to be at least.
No. Some of these are so these are just going to be some of the most popular, some of my personal favorites. You know,
we're not going to go from 1 to like 5,000.
Oh God, no.
We'd be here forever.
We'd be here forever, and I'm not giving a time amount, because last time I did that caused the whole thing. So we're not going to be doing that. I'm not doing all of that. You will see data expunged all over the place sometimes all over the place in these entries. Sometimes it's used well, sometimes it's used really, really badly. Like, for example, in that one thing that I can't describe, that one procedure, 110 Montauk, because how to rephrase it? Like, you will see, oh yes, we need to do X to a subject that's clearly a single digit to double digit age, and you're like, why is that? Why is it only one? Why is it only blocked out by a single? See what I mean? Yeah, sometimes censorship is used in a way that just gets you, you know, like when they're talking about certain things, speed, and you'll see like 3 digits are censored, and you're like, that's fast. That's very fast. I don't need to know any more than that. That's just fast. It could be 100. That's still bad. Mm-hmm. I don't need to know anymore.
Hitting turbo granny speeds.
Exactly. And then other times...
No.
And then, oh god, you vex me, by the way. You vex. And then other times, you'll see, like, a story that's just censored to the point of uselessness, you know? And it's just like... there are tools within this that you can use well. Not everybody does.
Yeah.
Not everybody does.
They just, like... It ends up being, like, 2-sentence horror. It's just, like...
Yeah.
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 They're almost never good.
You will also see regularly, like,
what was the one? Baby shoes bought new, never worn.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll also see termination very frequently here. They're not being fired. Well, they're being fired.
From this mortal coil.
You got it in one. But you see it so often. Yeah. It will confuse you. I'm not going to lie. Like, you just see it's like they can't possibly be slaughtering this many people. I mean, yeah, they are. Oh, yes, they are. Yes, they are. There's also various clearance levels. And everything ranging from 0, where you have no clearance, you are just the janitor, because, like, I'm not gonna lie, sure, we have the regenerating dinosaur over there, but, like, he doesn't need to see that to mop the floors, you know? Like, he could just mop outside of where that
around,
is, you know?
Not knowing about it.
Yeah, exactly. And then it just goes up and down from there all the way up to 5, which is like, you know, everything. There's not that many people who are at 5, obviously. Most people hover right around 2 to 3.
Okay.
Like, in most of these stories, you're seeing 2s and 3s. If
there was a 2.5, that'd be the average.
That is the average you'll see. 1s... I mean, they're so, like, it's like the delivery guy, you know what I mean? Like, if he's in trouble, this is not
a problem.
This is not going great. There's also, like, classification above that where it's like A class, the head honchos who are doing everything. D class, you want to guess who these guys are?
The janitors?
No.
Civilians?
Well, this one is less like, oh, your level of knowledge, and more like your level of importance. Everyone from A to D knows about the anomalies. So, like, A class, for example, doesn't directly interact with...
I think I might have an inkling of what kind of people these might be.
A doesn't interact with anything that is not... Actually, they don't interact with anything at all, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. Not at all. It's just not worth the risk. B can... but they have to be vetted first, and you have to be certain the anomaly cannot hurt them at all. C class is just your grunts, you know, they are working with them, and they can get killed, however, but you don't want too many of them dying. These are more like the desk jockeys,
yeah,
you know?
Somebody needs to catalog all this stuff and do the data entry.
Somebody's got to get close and count teeth,
yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. And then you have D class, the people who got to clean those teeth. And figure out what kind of bite force they put down.
I distinctly, I know about this class. Like, when I said I had an inkling, there was an image that popped into my mind of something I saw from an SCP video game a couple years ago, of like a bunch of prisoners being sent into a room with that one that has to be observed all the time.
We're obviously going to cover that one. Yeah. That's D class's job, baby. You see them in almost every story, because a lot of them are written like, experiment 1, that didn't work. Experiment 2, wow, that didn't work either.
Really didn't work.
And so you'll see a lot of D-class personnel being used for that, because it's like, well, we found out if they all blink at the same time, all 3 of their necks get shattered at once. Who'd have thunk? I'm so glad we now know that. These people are usually violent criminals.
Yeah.
But if staff is running low, it can stretch.
It stretches out to non-violent drug offenders.
Yeah, or further than that. You know, like jaywalked once. Sorry. Whoopsies. There's a whole bunch of other, like... What? It's true. It's a crime on the books.
Jaywalked once, a portal literally appears under you as you're walking across the street, and just, you're gone now.
You're gone now. Whoopsies.
You are now in the room. Look at that thing. Do not blink.
You cannot... No, synchronize your blinks. That's how it works. It is like, I am blinking now, and the other 2 have to stay staring.
Can't you hit like a...
Yo. One of my... Okay. Can we put a pin in that? Because there's a very fun... We'll get to it.
You can't hit like a one at a time.
Just stick a pin in that. Remember that when we get to it or something else.
Or does it go to like the side of your head that is not blinking and like cave it in or something?
You'll see when we get there.
Okay.
There's a whole bunch of other jobs. I'm not going to cover most of them because it's exactly what you think. Field agents, duh. Site director, duh. Like researcher. What do you think of researcher? Containment specialist.
They say what it's on the tin.
Yeah, the one that you got to know is the O5 Council. These are the like overseer level 5. These guys, there's 13 of them, and they run the entire show.
These
These are the guys. By the way, it's a voting body.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be a unanimous. Like 05-1 through 05-13.
It literally has to be, and everyone is on the same team.
And nobody knows anything else about them. So that one's very interesting. And then there's the ethics.
This is like the classic. This is like Sele and Evangelion. This is like the weird, whatever the sorcerers are called in JJK, where it's like everybody's behind a wall. You can't see them. They're completely anonymous. You don't know who these people are. You just know they voted yes or no on whether or not you get thrown into the pits.
Yes, and it's like if the sorcerer, like the people behind the like curtains in JJK, if they were scary powerful, maybe. Like you really don't know what they've done, and some of these anomalies, maybe some of these guys are immortal. There haven't been elections in a while. When was the last time they hired? Because I haven't been keeping count. Are they even human? I'm not sure entirely. We just know they vote.
That is a very far cry from the Control, I will say. Because in Control, it's a moderately elected official. Kind of elected official.
We have no idea. And then there's also the ethics committee, who are the people who
ethics.
Oh yeah.
that just struck me. Yeah. The group that throws jaywalkers to the dogs has an ethics community.
Do you know the best part about it? It is fully outside
the group that sees a doctor being like given his Hippocratic oath and snatches the book out of the person's hand.
Yeah. It's actually like this is such a good idea. So you have the regular chain of command, right? Outside it, you have the ethics committee, and if there is no, they are the final say in it. Like, nope, you went too far. Bye. That's all. That's it. And so it keeps this foundation vaguely grounded, and it, as far as I know, applies to almost everyone from the bottom to the tippy top.
So they can even throw like one of the O5 out if something unethical happens.
Okay, maybe not the tippy top. It's real high on the pyramid.
Okay.
Real high on this pyramid again.
Because that would be a very funny. That's like a Capone dynamic where it's just like, listen, I will spite the federal government all the livelong day, but not the IRS. Yeah,
well, because it's like 05 is really they're so strange, man. They're so strange, and again, a lot of this is people take this framework and write within it. So some people, yeah, maybe. Others, not so much. I'd say on average, probably not.
Gotcha. Okay.
And now we're going to get into a bunch of objects and anomalies, starting with safe and moving all the way up. But before we get into that, we got to talk about today's sponsor.
Which is safe, I will say.
What?
It is safe.
Oh, yeah.
Safe category.
Yeah, exactly. It's Raid Shadow Legends. No. I'm joking. If by Raid Shadow Legends...
I don't even play that. What do you mean we're getting sponsored by them? What?
If by Raid Shadow Legends, I mean all the awesome people who raided on over to our Patreon and became... and became Shadow Legends, who get an almost incalculable amount of perks. This is my payback for all the brutal puns you subjected me to. Hard segues. Hard, full ABS level segues.
Okay.
But seriously, we do have a Patreon, and it is actually very, very good. You get twice as many episodes. You get a whole bunch of other perks, live streams, access to the Discord, many, many, many things, all while helping us keep all of these lights on and get more of them incoming.
And keep the raid away.
That too, yeah. Yeah. And
we need raid for raid.
And so So if you want more,
you guys are our personal raid for raid.
And so if you want more of what you already love,
also not sponsored by that raid, but we have to clarify.
Yeah, if you want more of what you already love, an extra episode every single week, you can head on over to patreon.com/Isyander and Koda. For those of you already there, thank you very much. For those of you clicking the link in the description or the show notes, wherever you listen, thank you as well. Now let's get started with the safe category, and you're going to love this one.
Am I?
Again, because safe is like, we've researched this, we understand it, and we can pretty much always keep this thing in this box.
Okay.
You know, most of them are actually safe. Some of them are just strange, though, and a lot of them are like not that safe, but they've managed to contain them over time, you know?
Yeah.
Starting with SCP-999, the Tickle Monster. Look at him.
Okay, that's
Look
adorable.
at him.
That looks like Morph from Treasure Planet.
Everybody loves him.
That's adorable.
Fun fact, you know what the containment procedure is for him?
What?
Let him walk around. Yeah.
The containment procedure is don't. He's a cutie patootie.
Yeah. Like, the only times they stop him is when he's getting near other monsters. They're like, hey, nope, no, that. Nope, you can't go there.
I've already built a headcanon. I feel like if this was to touch one of the more dangerous SCPs, it probably just absorbs it, and that is why it's containment procedure.
Well,
just keep it away from the other ones.
Well, it's more like for its own safety, because a lot of them are kind of dangerous, you know? All the staff are allowed to interact with him. All of them know about him. All of them can talk to him and play with him. It's so much fun. You obviously can't yell at him. No one ever has. And if they do, they're probably going to die.
But why would you yell at him?
He's made out of orange gelatin. He's viscous.
So people might be tempted to eat him.
Kinda.
Oh, not orange flavored gelatin, just orange colored gelatin. Okay, never mind.
Well, the thing about him is he does seem to genuinely cure depression.
Look at him!
No. Like this is a like a thing. He will like just kind of I don't know what the word would be for this. Sloosh around. I think that's the correct word, right?
Slosh around.
Yeah, slosh around the facility, and he just making tiny noises like Jeff the Shark levels, and he will gravitate towards like sad or hurt employees or people who just saw something horrific because of their job.
He's literally the office therapy dog,
and genuinely helps them. So much so the Foundation's gone, can we
replicate this?
Could he be used to make antidepressants? Like that's a real thing they've thought. Like, can he? Is that a thing?
Canned little buddy.
Yeah, no, canned little buddy. They've tried that. He's taken a bullet for a random employee before.
Okay, that's awesome. But he's made of gelatin. It probably went straight through him, but
probably. They've put him in a room with a monster that we'll cover later. I will say is unkillable and real mad at everything, and it kind of made him chill out for a little bit.
So this is we literally started on the nicest one.
Yeah, he's so great. He also might not, or maybe could be related to that one thing that I can't talk about. But other than that, you know, yeah, that might be the kid of that. It's just a thing.
Well, you know what they say: kids are literally the exact opposite of the parents most of the time.
Yep. Next up is so many different numbers. It's been proposed as being the first SCP because, fun fact, that's not, like, there isn't one. It's a competition that's running, and a lot of them are really, 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 really good. It's just the collection known as the Scarlet King. That's very cool. I
like that.
In so many articles, that's why I said a whole bunch of numbers. He appears in so many different articles, and while there isn't like a main villain, this guy gets real close. He is the maybe is the cause for that horrific thing. He is started cults left, right, and center almost consistently. He is the main antagonist of an offshoot series. He is one of the most well-known, like you type in the Scarlet King, you're going to get hundreds of videos on him. And he's also almost impossible to quickly summarize because of that.
Just because he's all over the place.
Yeah, what we will cover is the proposal for him being SCP-001 because 001's kind of special. Like whenever big numbers pop up, there'll be like a little writing competition and like best one wins effectively.
So I assume there was a competition for like
and
SCP-69, SCP-420.
I don't have I don't have an eidetic memory for them all.
Covering those two?
Certainly not. Certainly not. But they do tend to do this because like some of these numbers, like there's a little bit to them, and so like one's gotta be somebody, one's got to be somebody.
Yeah.
And he is huge. He is like he tends to be associated with a lot of red. Big antlers.
Scarlet.
He is obsessed. He's very corny. There's a lot of blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne a little bit. He can shape. He has so many powers.
He's the villain.
He can shapeshift. I'm trying to think of how to. The answer is, if you think Canon Satan could do it. He probably can do it. Probably can.
Okay.
He probably can. He has 7 mortal brides.
This property's devil villain.
Yes. He has 7 mortal brides. Cultures from all over the world have a name for him. You know what I mean? So like he goes that far. For as far as recorded history.
This is the devil.
Yeah. And he is one of the oldest things the Foundation knows about. The little doorways to other dimensions I mentioned. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they just find he still exists there. That's just a thing. That's just a thing. And the only saving grace for all of this is that he is bound in chains.
So, very easy to catch?
Well, if the 7th chain breaks, so 7th seal, right? You know what I mean? It's an end of world scenario. Everybody does. Everybody does.
Yeah.
Everybody
Do
does.
not let this entity have its way.
So bad that they have to have so many D-class people straight up do like a satanic ritual to keep it away. That is I am talking like the full. My favorite bit from Inside Job like is in the first 5 seconds of the episode where like they're panning through the facility and they have all these people in hooded robes. Dow Jones plus 500 points, and like they slaughter a goat right then and there. Yeah, it's that level stuff. It's that
I love
level.
That show.
Yeah.
Why did it get canceled?
Yeah, and so it's like they have a whole thing like 7
Netflix, please bring it back.
Probably not.
I will pay you for the advertisement-free plan if you just bring back Inside Job.
No, but I'm gonna get Drive to Survive season 7 soon, so I'm excited. Anyway, so they do the whole 7 seals, 7 rings, 7 thrones for the Scarlet King. Like it is very, very cool. Like another one is blood for the old gods, water for the new king. Like, God. Right, it's utterly insane. Like this is stuff you can find like out in the woods.
Yeah,
level of occult.
Yeah, there are horror movies written about this guy, just not this guy.
And horrific, apocalyptic things keep showing up in its name, in the Scarlet King's name, over and over. And people are getting visions of dragons made of fire and horn crowns appearing in the night sky over their black sites. Yeah.
Bad.
Everyone in O5 Command having nightmares of some random South Asian guy weeping. That's just a thing that's happening. Oh, and like hymns can be heard being sung in secure areas nowhere near him.
Huh.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Whatever they're doing to contain him is not working.
It's not working.
It is, and there's so much to this, brother. I'm compressing.
And this one's classified as safe?
Yes. Do you have to know why? It is.
Please answer that question swiftly and promptly.
Because one, Dr. Montauk, the guy who led to that horrific thing I can't talk about, investigated the Scarlet King and discovered that it's not really a world-ending thing, or whatever they found chained up behind the door to the evil dimension.
Is it just like a random entity playing dress up?
Kind of. It was more of you got to stay with me here, like I said. It was kind of more of like an idea before this. And then, not joking, British imperialism happened. And the ensuing collective suffering that led to that came from that, twisted it into a violent thing that seeks to reject everything that came from that. Yeah, and because it's an idea that's been twisted, right? The SCP Foundation, in their immediate freak out upon seeing it. And they're constant, like, classify that, kill him, have you tried dropping a nuke on it 5 times, has only made it worse. Has only fed into this thing.
I see.
Yes.
It is just fed by a bunch of negative energy.
You said it's like, oh, this is like canon Satan. That's how they've been billing this guy. What do you think he became?
I see.
Yeah.
So what if we just start thinking of it as that last one and it changes and now we've got 2 of them?
And so whatever this thing assimilated, whoever's behind that evil dimension door, and it began telling everyone that it was the Scarlet King and it's this,
I see.
Yeah. And so what is the one thing they can do? It's safe. It's safe. It's fine. It won't end the world.
I see. This one is an information hazard. The more people that think of it as a bad world ending, the more bad world ending it becomes.
And that's why it's classified as safe.
Because, nope, we've dealt with it. It's safe. It's contained.
We have dealt with it. It is safe. We now know it is certainly not that.
And thus, as more people believe that...
people keep writing about it, and it has hundreds of names. And things keep showing up in its name. So... it could be terminal at this point. I'm not going to lie.
This serves as a wonderful ARG because I'm sure this started in real life as a very calm and collected entity, and as more people wrote about it, that snowball just kept going.
I love this.
As people played telephone with the idea of it being satanic.
Obviously, this is an episode all to itself. Obviously, I'm compressing so much, man. But yes. I just had to include him because safe. Like, I love how they play with the definitions when they can, Next up is Ronald Reagan. I'm not joking. This one used to really, really mess with me. 1981 is the SCP's number. And the basic premise is, I love this. I need you to know this, okay? It is a videotape from 1991. And it's just titled Ronald Reagan Cut Up While Talking. And the only special containment procedure it has is don't store any magnets near it.
What?
It'll wipe it. That's it. That is the only... Yeah.
Is this just a tape of the former President Ronald Reagan being cut up while talking?
I'm not gonna lie, this one still gives me residual heebies and jeebies just because, again, like when I was a kid, this and Return the Slab. When I first saw that episode, I tell you, I launched behind my couch. When I tell you, I flew behind my German Shepherd freaked out. Like, it thought, he's dying.
We're dying.
So there's a catastrophe about to happen. I need to protect him. I need to protect this little goober. And so he's freaking out. Nobody can get close to me and turn the TV off. And there's just this massive dog hitting laps around the sofa that I refuse to leave. Like, it's just such a mess on every level.
None of that is returning the slab.
None of it is. I have no idea how that made it to air. But yes, this still gives me residual heebie-jeebies. The basic premise is just Reagan's giving a speech. And as he's giving a speech, he's slowly, just more and more wounds start appearing over time. And the thing about this tape is, it changes every time. Like, the wounds keep changing every single time. Like you see these ones, you see this thing. Mm-hmm. It's different every time. Sometimes he's like, it varies wildly. I'm surprised he hasn't been hit by an F-150 in one of them. Like, it just... changes but that is it. That is all. It is a Reagan speech that slowly gets more and more weird and inane and changes every time, and that's all. That is it.
Has each viewing been observed and cataloged?
Not every single kind of. It is.
Is there a pattern to these?
It's not a speech he's ever made. You know what I mean? And it always
the original deepfake.
Kind of. This is one of the few things where I'm like, because sometimes they include audio and stuff. I'm like, oh man, if this was made in today when you can just immediately get someone's voice, there's a lot that they could have done with that. Mm-hmm. But in this case, it's 10 seconds in, it starts becoming either completely incomprehensible or just starts sounding very, very threatening as the tape keeps degrading over and over, and sometimes predicts the future. They watched it in the 90s, he predicted 9/11. That's just a thing.
I see.
Yep.
I see.
Yep. That is not a, and so occasionally they check it. It's just nope. What do you mean Montana goes away? What?
Why is there's a suspicious dent where like Montana used to be?
Oh yeah, there's also, I mean, there are a couple transcripts too, but there's also like a guy who used to appear in all of the tapes and like there's no other way to put it, like a black KKK getup. Yeah, he was there. Did you see him? Bam. See?
Okay.
Like that's just a thing that happens, and he used to appear in them until one day when someone was watching it, that happened.
Aha.
And he's not been seen since.
The person who viewed that?
No, that guy has not shown up in any other viewings of the tape. He just dropped that, and then that again. I can't. Like, it still messes with me. Years later. Yeah, hairs stand on the back of the neck. Yeah. And so he vanished. We don't know where he is. And there's just kind of been an APB. If you see this man, call for help. Call it in. This is horrific.
Get this person now.
Yeah. And that's it. I love it. I love it so much. And this one's safe-ish.
Just don't put magnets near it.
Don't put magnets in it. And we're not sure what's happening here because it did drop an ICU. So... That's not great.
Whatever entity is changing the events of that tape is
aware
that it is being observed.
Yep.
Frightening.
Yep. Horrifying. Next up are Euclid. These are the I think this is the most popular class. I can't put numbers behind it. I haven't counted them all, but I think most of them fall into here. And these are, we could catch it. I don't know if we could keep it. You know what I mean?
You'd be like, playing whack-a-mole with these ones.
Yeah. Like the one I mentioned that got this bug in my brain to do this episode, like Shy Guy, he counts as one, which is SCP-96. That's him in all his glory. There's a lot of fun art for them too. We covered. You remember him?
We talked about him. Did we talk about him in an episode?
Yeah. I think on Patreon. Basic premise is he's built like a Wendigo. There's no two ways about it. He's built like a Wendigo, and at current, they can maybe contain him in a 5x5x5x5 cube in the middle of the Mariana Trench with no cameras in it, and like a person who walks up and like knocks on it every now and then. That's it.
You hold on. You added 4 dimensions to those. You said 5x5x5x5 cube.
For some of them, it would work, but not this one. Just a 5x5x5.
Okay.
The 4th dimension. The time doesn't matter in this one. Yeah.
What would the 5th metric be? 5 seconds? 5 minutes? 5 hours?
5 somethings. 5 somethings.
5 cubic tachyons?
I don't know. But the reason they have it like that, and the reason you can't observe it, is if you can look at like his body and it's just fine, but if you look at his face, he will immediately freak out and move at unknown speed to get to you. It does not matter where you are. It does not matter what you do. You cannot stop it. They have shown it to a guy in a submarine. It keyhauled it all the way across the planet, swam down to the bottom of the ocean to rip the sub apart. There was a guy climbing Everest, and he found an old picture of it, immediately broke out and ran straight for the top of Everest. That is not a joke.
Ran.
Full speed.
Ran up Everest.
I think my favorite one, and the one everyone always mentions, is it was running across, and there was some personnel with visors on, and it registered for like 0.1 of a second. It flashed by so fast, there's no way their retinas recognized what they saw. It immediately turned and got them.
Just because you saw me for literally half a second.
And are you seeing the problem with containing this one?
Yeah.
Because if it runs past you and you got unlucky enough to be looking vaguely in its head direction, gone. And so it can just become this spiral out of control as it's just going after everyone and everything that's seen its face.
The protocol for when it gets out, look, toes.
The problem is, what if it runs through New York? Runs through the center of Tokyo. There's no containing that.
Yeah.
Actually, one of my favorite ones that we're not going to cover this episode. Effectively, like the Foundation turns on humanity, and so they start using a lot of these in different ways. against people. SCP 5000 is the one. It's very well written. Oh my God, it's good. And the thing I love the most is seeing how these are twisted. So, like, for example, how they use Shy Guy, they tweet pictures of his face.
Put him on Times Square billboards.
They just proliferate images of him all over social media. Done.
It's not just an information hazard. Yeah. It's just a hazard.
Yeah, and while all this is playing out, he's just running around getting effectively everyone, getting more people to see him. It's...
You know, that kind of reminds me, I can't remember what the Twitter account is called, but there was a Twitter account that I used to like...
was that Apocalypse Twitter?
No. It was some dude who would make like little micro horror stories through tweets using Twitter as the format for it. So he would make real tweets and he would have other accounts that would respond to it in a certain way.
Yeah.
And it was the most frightening thing.
It's that level of stuff.
Like it was, the one that I remember is, is Twitter green for everybody else? Why is Twitter green?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, like the Apocalypse one. Yeah, why is it green? What does that mean? That was very well done. Kind of in a similar vein. I love internet horror, though I just wish we weren't recording this in the middle of the night.
Oh, yeah. You won't be able to sleep.
I'll be fine. Anyway, next up is 173, the sculpture, baby.
I know this one. Everybody knows this one.
Which...
Keep looking at it.
Actually, don't say that. Don't do that. Don't do that to me.
Don't not look at it. You will have a problem.
It's a good use. It's a good time to bring up one of my favorite things about SCPs, where sometimes it's just an image reused. Like that is just a sculpture. That is just a sculpture. Oh, I don't remember the artist's name. Oh, I feel bad.
You don't remember the artist's name?
No. Hold on. I put him. It's in the notes. Izumi Kato.
Izumi Kato?
Yep. He had an art installation called... A lot of his art looks like that.
Is that name Japanese? That's actually Kato, I think.
Kato?
Yeah.
Either way. It's called Untitled 2004, and so that was just used for that. And that is kind of where it got its body from, effectively.
So, just somebody's sculpture is now an SCP?
One of them's a fursuit. One of them's just a fursuit.
Cool.
And like, shock, awe, it's got a massive following in the furry community. It's so funny to me. We're to talk about that one, obviously, too. That's a real thing. Yeah, the basic premise behind this one is you gotta observe it at all times. And if you don't,
neck break.
There's been so many different takes on it.
I mean, this one's a classic.
And you keep it in a locker and you make sure that it's always being watched by somebody. The room it's in will always get disgusting to a level that's just vile, and somebody has to go in and clean it up while somebody's watching it. 2 people, actually, just in case like they blink out of sync. Yeah, it's the Weeping Angels again, where you blink to get
I was
closer.
going to say, any inspiration to from the Weeping Angels? Because I think the Weeping Angels came way before.
Then yes, that's how it came. That's the basic premise behind this one. It's a classic. It's the OG. Everybody knows this one. There's a timeline where a whole bunch of these get out, like more than the one. Which you can think, you can imagine.
Yeah. Not everyone can blink and sync.
Yes. There's a whole thing that maybe this is just a game it likes to play. Like this is just a self-imposed rule that it has on itself that, sure, why not? I can wait until you blink. Keep me entertained. One of you's got to blink at some point. But yeah, this is the original one. This is what started it, and they used this to deal with something we'll talk about later. Remember how you said about the eye thing? We'll get to that in a moment.
The one at a time maybe working?
Yeah. Next up is the Infinite Ikea, 3008. I love this one. I'm a sucker.
Is it the warehouse or is it the demo?
Well, this is very like liminal spaces, back room kind of a vibe. It is...
I saw a funny image recently.
What?
A Pepsi vending machine in the back rooms with somebody tweeting, "Oh, thank God, I was getting so thirsty."
What does that mean?
You wander the back rooms forever, you finally find a Pepsi. Oh, thank God, I was getting thirsty.
Sure. Sure, why not? Actually, Okay, so you got it at what? It's the infinite IKEA. It keeps going. It's kind of like that infinite.
No, is it the warehouse or is the demo model floor?
Yes.
Oh, both?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, the second you can no longer see the entrance, so like in the example of my nearest IKEA, the moment you take a single escalator up, bam.
I'm not going to enter that IKEA, I think, ever again after this episode.
Bam. You are immediately gone.
Cool.
You are immediately gone. We haven't found the edges of this thing. We just know it's 6 miles in every direction, and it just keeps on going.
Is that... have we, like, sent people in with...
From within, we think.
Have we sent people in with, like, a cable attached to them so we can start pulling if they get lost, or...
We've certainly tried.
Okay.
There's so many people stuck in there. A shocking amount of them, honestly. Like, it almost makes no sense. And they've begun building, like, IKEA fortifications, effectively. With all the spare furniture and stuff lying around, they've built houses out of it. And the reason they're building IKEA fortifications is because the employees... This is a store.
The employees?
This is a store, and it does close, and you should leave.
Oh. Cool.
Yes.
Very cool.
And so these faceless, malformed things come out every time at closing and just start getting everybody as they tell them, the store is closed. Please exit the building.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. Funnily enough, though, you know that you mentioned, oh, thank God, a Pepsi machine? They keep the IKEA stocked like that.
Okay, that's
so you
funny.
can always go get like meatballs and stuff, which is how the people survive. That's not a joke. People have been living there for months. Years even.
Is there literally no way out?
People have gotten out, to which the Foundation just wipes their memory. Their best current solution is to just route all traffic away from it and call it a black site. Because they can't do anything else about it. But people still show up, and people still get into that like old IKEA, and then they're gone. And they just have to go,
great. That's...
Great. We probably shouldn't deal with that. But, yeah.
Cool.
Oh, it's also maybe like the connecting fiber of all dimensions. Maybe.
Yup.
Yeah, that's like a thing. Like the few survivors who've come out have gone. It's a theory that's been cooked up right now because there's a lot of Mandela effect style things.
Oh, where somebody comes out and it's just like, yeah, thank God Reagan kept the gold standard. He
Mm-hmm.
No, he didn't.
Thank goodness Obama Palin won the third term, and it's like,
whoa, that's not correct.
What do you mean? And it's like, well, duh, you know. Actually, no, it'd be Obama McCain. It'd be like, duh, you know, we never got rid of the rule where loser becomes vice president. And it's like, okay, so you're clearly from a different dimension.
You're not from here.
Cool, good to know. Which, what a wild rule. What? Because either way, we'd be in for Biden Trump back to back. And that's a jarring mix-up. That's a jarring mix-up. Only bested by Trump Hillary. Nothing would get done.
Nothing would get done.
It'd just be jabs.
Yeah.
It'd just be jabs. Constantly. I think Obama and McCain would have been pretty solid, though. I'm not even going to lie. That just sounds like a good...
They were quite pleasant with each other.
Neither here nor there, though. Next up. 1/128. This one you will hate.
Why will I hate this?
There are no images of it.
Okay.
At all. And you cannot contain it, as you've seen with a lot of these, like Shag-Eye you can't contain for obvious reasons. The sculpture you can contain it. It's real hard, you know what I mean? How the hell are you going to contain an IKEA?
These are all in, like, we can keep things out of it.
Yeah,
we can keep it sequestered, but, like, not really.
I'm going to keep it a buck with you. How do you expect me to... What do you want me to do with this IKEA?
Yeah.
Like, if I'm 05 and I hear you discovered an IKEA...
Yeah.
I might terminate you on the spot. Out of anger.
This is a very, like, well summarized category of just, like, we can't contain it, but we can sequester it, or we can try our best to, but it's not contained.
Yes, exactly. This thing is in that same category where you cannot contain it, because you've seen information hazards, and there's usually like a little bit of a rule to them where it's like, oh, well, if you see Shy Guy's face, you're done, right? Or like if you read or know anything about that one, you're done. In this case, no pictures, no videos, no drawings, any descriptions of it, even if you wrote down what it looked like vaguely. You cannot ever do that. Anything that has been exposed to him has to get Men in Black like flashbanged, or else it is hosed. Like you vaguely describe it, amnesia pills are shoved down your throat. So fast. Then you're immediately given like a pop quiz right then and there.
What did you see in there?
Yeah. So that's the only way we have to contain it is burn everything we know about it, burn everyone who knows anything about it. And we know vaguely where it is because it's in the ocean somewhere.
Is this Cthulhu?
And there's just a mobile task force that is watching that area. And any boat gets close to it, gun down. It's like, stop, hey, reroute, you shouldn't do that, gone.
Is this Cthulhu?
We don't know what it actually looks like.
Do we know what it does?
It's a predatory aquatic organism that definitely eats a lot of things and has been described as holding a whale in its teeth the way your dog holds a chew toy.
What kind of whale?
Any. Any's bad. And the interesting thing about it is it's only in one part of the ocean. How's it going to get you? Like, it can't bring the ocean to you, It's like a mosasaur, right? It brings you to it.
What do you mean? Like, it hits you with the teleportation beam or something?
Once you know something about it, you won't notice anything, except you are now very thalassophobic. Like so basically, you probably already have it.
Yeah, me.
Yeah. And you can't quite explain it. The only way you know you're absolutely done is the next time you fully submerge your body underwater, you'll be looking right at it. And you'll be in the middle of the ocean with it. Doesn't matter where you are. Could be a hot tub, could be a pool, could be a jacuzzi. You go like head deep. You just imagine you are in the bathtub, down, middle of the ocean.
Don't like that. Don't like that.
And your only means of survival is making it to the surface while this thing's trying to get to you. And if you do, you actually get to pop out exactly where it got you from. So if you just went down the jacuzzi, you pop right back up and you have no memories. Thank God you beat it. However, you got to swim up from the middle of the ocean.
Yeah. And you say you have no memories of it or at all?
Of it. So you can at least move on.
So you get a hard reset. You can go back down into the water and you're fine. Okay. Don't like that.
It could be a puddle. You could do the puddle jump. Haha, poo. Oh.
You will never see me in a pool again because...
They've experimented with D-class personnel to see what the limits of this are. One guy, they're like, hey, look at this neat picture. Now hold on to this gun. What? Never let go of it. And the next time he submerged himself in water, he went in with that gun. It didn't do a thing. And so they're like, okay, cool. So we can't use that on it. Another guy, they kept just submerging in things that are not water. Hey, does Jell-O work? Nope. And so that's basically it. And the guy who proposed that was fired because it's what? You dunked him in Jell-O. What are we doing? We're a real organization.
Do you know how much we've paid for that unrefined petroleum?
It was pointless. It was utterly pointless.
At least it held its value.
There's this guy they showed it to, and then they continually just kept him away from getting into it. And they did this for as long as they possibly could until he started seeing it in every body of water he passed. And he'd get the tug from smaller and smaller and smaller bodies of water.
He went to Starbucks, ordered a water cup and looked into it, saw this beast.
Yeah, that would just happen to him. Yeah, he went utterly mad, obviously. And the way it ended is somehow it pulled him into a glass of water.
It just hit him with the gotcha.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing, but I figured you'd enjoy that one.
No, actually.
You hate that?
You'd be surprised.
All right, next one is 1471, which is Malo, which is real popular. It's an app. This one's an app.
It's an app?
Yeah, it's an app. And it is basically the app advertises itself as a cure for loneliness. And when you install it, it'll start sending you pictures like, hey, look at that. And
this is like your AI chatbot buddy.
Kind of. It'll be pictures of places you hang out a lot, right? And that's the first 24 hours. 48 hours later, you're going to start getting pictures of places you were very, very recently. Like today recently. Yeah. Yeah. And after 72 hours, you start getting real-time pictures of yourself. Like it'll be like from your bedroom window, back of your head.
Don't like that.
Yep.
Simply don't like that.
And every single picture has that guy in it.
Don't like that.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep. And in the last pictures, it's standing right next to you.
It's just hitting the buddy.
Kinda, yeah. After 90 hours, you will start seeing it yourself in the corner of your eyes, reflections, hallways as you pass by. You're going to be seeing it everywhere. And it is not going to do anything.
Oh, it's just going to keep showing up?
It tries to talk to you.
Really?
But nobody knows what it is.
Oh.
Yeah. The reason I added this one is it's fursuit. This is where the picture's from.
Well, it's a bit of a...
And it's very, very popular in the furry community. It's very popular.
Its face looks a bit rotted, but other than that...
No. It is so funny to me. I'm talking. It has its own entry on Wiki for thousands of pieces of art of this thing, most of which I can't put up. Cool. Yeah.
Cool. So what you're saying is this thing will get closer and closer and closer to you until it gets to the point where it starts trying to talk to you, and it starts trying to tell you what it did at its tech job in the last con it went to.
Yeah, pretty much. You got it one.
Stop telling me about the room parties.
And it's probably very good at shuffling, I'd wager. Those are the two things. You got it in one. Yeah, I mean, that's a good slice of the Euclid spectrum right there, maybe. Like, yeah, how are you supposed to contain this? I figured you'd enjoy that, and if you didn't, I knew some of you guys would. Yeah, next up is Keter.
Oh, classification Keter?
Yeah. These are the big boys.
Yeah.
These are the possible world enders. These are, we can barely contain them.
The Avengers level threats.
These are the guys that get their own areas. You know, like we found it and we now have Area 55, you know?
Cool.
This is what
Not Area 52?
Oh, this is this universe, dude. We're way higher than that.
Oh, I see.
The Scarlet King used to be here before they realized, that doesn't help.
Stop qualifying him as unsafe.
Yeah, and so the thing about Keter that's of note is while it is usually very dangerous, it's almost always unexplainable, and that's the real kicker here. It is we do not have the technology to really know what this is and know how it works and know how to prevent it. So, build a wall. The best I got. It's the best I got.
Just keep it away from everything?
Yep, just keep it away from everything. Starting with the most popular, the one everybody knows, the one everyone's a fan of. It is 682.
682.
I kid you not, the hard-to-destroy reptile. That is its actual nickname. Can you guess what it is?
Hard to destroy reptile.
Yep. Another good use case.
Like a lizard or a snake.
Another good use case of images, by the way, because those are just rotting whales.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but like, this one used to mess when he was a kid.
It's just that is just a whale carcass.
Yeah, but like I didn't know that at the time. Not everyone likes this one. I'm going to be honest, because it is.
It's the hard to destroy reptile.
Yes, that. It's
This seems quite basic for what I've seen so far.
The joy from this one comes from the challenge it poses prospective writers. And that's the thing about it. It operates like Doomsday from the DC universe.
where you kill it.
I've ranted you about Doomsday, right?
You kill it and it comes back resisting what you used to kill it last.
Which is what's always a problem when Superman beats it every which way to Sunday, because it's like,
oof. It's not resistant to Superman.
That's a problem.
That's a big problem.
And so
you don't got anything stronger than him.
Yeah, his entry starts with, it must be destroyed as soon as possible, and they keep this thing in a steel cube filled with hydrochloric acid. And anytime it tries to move or talk, because it can talk, by the way, they react with extreme prejudice. I don't know how much more prejudice you can have other than it's dunked in acid. It's constantly being ripped apart, but like...
hydrofluoric acid, because if I remember correctly, that one is more volatile. Not volatile. Volatile is the wrong word. But it eats quicker.
Yeah, it is... Not this thing. It is basically...
Again, I guess you don't want to give it the max, because then it'll become resistant to the max. You want to leave an acid... You want some acid headroom.
Yes, it is. It will adapt to any... It's very... This is the part where when it's written well, it's very cool, because it adapts to any and every situation. So it's not just, oh, we got it and it came back with tougher scales. When it's written badly, that is what it feels like. I'm not going to lie. But when it's written well, it leads to scenes where it gains maximum bioluminescence as a means to try and escape a situation. Or like returns with huge wings.
Flashbang lizard.
Kind of, yeah. It can suck nutrients out of acid. I don't know how it's managing that. But
there aren't any, as far as I know.
To be fair, I mean, it's eating...
Chemists, please.
It's eating the walls of the container. So, like that... It's probably getting iron.
No, that makes sense. Like,
probably getting iron at least.
Fluorine is usually put in glass ampules, and it still needs to have its glass ampule refreshed because it eats the inside of it.
And so, when this thing is written well, it serves a very good showcase for other objects. Because, like, you know the neck breaker? They introduced it to this thing. Which, by the way, it freaked out. Like, it almost immediately recognized it, grew eyes everywhere. Yeah. And they were all trained on it.
Huh.
Yes.
How did it... How did the neck breaker get it? Because I assume it did.
It didn't. Because, like, what the Foundation then did is they tried to, like, shoot out all the eyes, to which they just came back bulletproof. Like, that's how much it did not like that thing. And that was the answer to the question of, like, what if I kept one eye open? Theoretically, that would work. If you just did the... But, like, you got to remember, there's a little bit of a blind spot.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, is, like, you close your right eye, or you close your left eye, and then it just goes to your left.
Which is why, eyes everywhere. Immediately just eyes everywhere. Nope, not dealing with that at all. They've put it in a room with a thing... I love this one. We're not going to cover it at all. It's basically like a small... blotchy spot of darkness that is vaguely person-shaped. We're not sure what it is. We keep it in a room with all the lights on. That's not a joke. It's just like, you know, the lights at like baseball stadiums, up close and personal in a full box, always on this thing. And if a bulb goes out, oh God,
problem.
And so you must go in their head-to-toe reflective gear, and you cannot stand in front of too many of them because it'll hop to the darkness, swallow you whole, you're gone.
Okay.
Immediately gone.
Cool.
Like, it's the kind of room where, you know, like with sufficient lights, how, like, I don't have a shadow right now. Well, you, specifically right there, I don't have a shadow. But, like, you get the basic premise.
Yeah.
You know? So they tried introducing it to that, to which, like, it saw its shadow, it fully covered this thing, and it proceeded to roar across every, what's the word for it? It's not the sonic spectrum, is it? Every wavelength.
Yeah.
Across every wavelength it could manage, shattered every single bit of recording equipment, deafened a couple of people, and came out just fine.
Okay. Just roared the shadow creature away? Cool.
Yep. It can, any situation you put it in, it can change, and it's so cool for it. They've tried to, and it also they've tried to get like an SCP that identifies itself as God to, like, hey, deal with it, dude. You put it here.
Please unwrite this thing from existence.
Morgan, you put it here. Deal with it, Freeman, please. You know, to which I went, not one of mine. That's not a joke. That's not a joke. They tried to get strike a deal with another SCP that's kind of like a demon that will it can make any deal happen effectively. And they're like, what would it cost to kill this thing, please? To which they said, you don't have the fun. You don't have the money on you. You couldn't afford it. Yeah. They tried ye old, my favorite one, putting a little German boy in there with a lollipop because surely it wouldn't. Oh no!
Oh no! It got him.
Yes, that's a real
No,
experiment.
little German boy, don't get into the unkillable lizard box. Oh mein Gott, this lizard is
Yep. The doctor who suggested that was next, so that didn't go well. They put this other one in there that makes everything around it get a rage response, to which it just kind of calmed down, actually. Like there's this moment where it was just like it let her draw on it with crayons, which is like, come on. That's just kind of neat.
That's funny.
They tried to kill it with Shy Guy. They went dead even. They remember that one that I showed you that's just all pictograms. Mm-hmm. They wrote down all the information about it on its skin using a laser engraver, to which the thing just showed up, ripped the skin off, and ran away. Like, do you see what I mean? Do you see what I mean? Do you see the room? Do you see the room? This thing, they tried, one of those dimensional doors I mentioned? They just chucked it through it.
Came back?
It got spat out with wings and laughter.
Like, that extra dimension just threw it back through the door. Think fast, chuckle nuts.
Yep. There is no way to deal with it, and they just want this thing very, very dead, and for its part, it wants everything dead. This is the second part of it that makes it kind of bad, and it's written poorly, because it's cognizant, it can talk, and it's dunked in hydrochloric acid 24/7. This leads to one of two outcomes. Shadow the Hedgehog with a machine gun. Or was it a shotgun that he No, it was a machine gun that reloads like a shotgun. That's what it was.
No.
It's an MP5 that reloaded like a shotgun.
Yes.
That was the one, which is, yeah.
I think the MP5 is a submachine pistol.
It doesn't matter. So at worst, when it's written, it comes off that level of edgy. However, when it's written well, it fills this very specific variant of cosmic horror, which is, we are the horror to it. Like the way you are revolted by bugs, for example, right? Or would be thoroughly unthrilled if you got a cockroach sandwich, let's say, right? Just not that to as disgusting as that is to you, all of our creation is like that to it.
Okay, I see.
And so it's described itself as, or it's been described as, the sky aching for it to look at. Every sound rakes like a power sander across its teeth. Everything feels like it's there to mock or torture him.
So it's less like it hates the world and more is just
horrified,
revolted by it.
It's truly revolted by everything around it, and just thinks it would be better off if this was just gone. It's the same way if you were to walk into your bedroom and see when you roll over a log in the forest and there's just all that. Yeah, if you saw one wall of your room like that, flamethrower.
Yeah.
Flamethrower. Immediately, with no thought.
I'm burning the house down.
With no thought at all.
It's
revolting, and this needs to stop. And now imagine you are chained in all four walls, surrounded by bugs constantly.
Ah, yes. I can... Yeah.
Up to your neck.
This thing...
Up to your neck.
This thing isn't evil, it's just, different.
It is hostile.
It has such a different, a fundamentally different basis of existence that this isn't evil. It's just
And so this is welcome to Keter. This is the kind of stuff you're dealing with. Next up is The Flesh That Hates, number 610. This one is just a disease, and it's icky.
So this is our Norgolite plague.
Yeah, you've got it. You've got it in one. This one, God, it's one of the first ones I remember looking at. It is Siberian in origin, and it is either spread through skin-to-skin contact or airborne. And the current best way to deal with it is quarantine an entire swath of Siberia. Yep. And shoot anything, firebomb anything, and then shoot it again while firebombing it again. And
that still does nothing to this?
No, that works. They kind of have it under control now, but if you get within 10 feet of anything, you will get shot, then firebombed, then shot again.
I see.
Yeah. They do medical exams by drone. Like, the doctors will not get, there's nothing.
Because they'll get it.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, 9 times out of 10, it's shoot them. Like, 9 times out of the 10, that is the medical diagnosis.
That is the treatment for this.
Yeah. It starts off as like a normal skin thing, itchiness, rash,
and breaking out in hives. This is normal.
Yeah.
Relatively normal. I mean,
within 3 hours, it's scar tissue everywhere. Knew you'd hate this one.
Don't like that.
Yeah, it covers your back, your legs, it's everywhere. Have you ever wanted a full body scab? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yep.
Now. Thank you.
No problem. Hey, but 5 hours in, you're gone. Pretty quick. No, it's pretty quick. 5 hours in, done. Finished. And then after 3 minutes, you get back up with vitals that are ramped all the way up, body temperature's way too high.
Zombies.
Heart rates, you got it in one.
Zombies.
And now all this excess just stuff that's sloughing off of you is now just all over the place and kind of branching out like extra limbs. I mean, look at that, It's very Nurgle. It's very you know exactly what this is. It spreads by touch there. These growths will take huge swaths of areas to them. And even if you firebomb them, it just keeps coming back.
This is kind of like what's happening to the forests around Pripyat and Chernobyl.
It's kind of like in The Last of Us, where you see those the fungus zombies, and some of them are just stuck there putting out spores constantly. Mm-hmm. These guys will do that too sometimes. It's just so terrible. And that little zone that they keep it in is constantly undergoing seismic activity. So probably underground too.
This is like people mold.
Yeah. Face tendrils all over the place. It's super gross.
This is people mold.
Yeah.
It's gross. No. This isn't people. I mean, I guess this kind of people mold. This is the grave mind from Halo. This is
do they have a religion of some kind? Because these guys do.
No, but kind of, but no. I mean, the grave mind is like a weird hive mind thing. But they don't exactly have a religion revolving around them.
Well, these guys kind of have a big church, and they take people over there and they feed off them. It's not great. This is another contender for horrific big bad for the setting, because if it gets out, not good.
That's bad.
Not great. Mm-hmm. This is another one of those things in that time where they decided to get everyone. They were just and let it out, and catapult a couple people in. And as you can imagine, very effective. Very effective. Next up is...
And I assume that area is just an absolute dead zone, other than the Su-24s going through just firebombing it.
You got it in one. Next up is the Old Man.
I think that's the fighter bomber variant, but can't remember off the top of my brain. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
This guy is just a geriatric we keep in a puzzle box. That's it. He's in a lead-lined steel container that's surrounded by 40 different containers with about a foot in between each of them. And there are 16 spherical cells filled with liquid at random. And then there's also layers and layouts and support structures everywhere, just meant to be confusing. And the entire setup at any given moment can be flooded with light while being watched 24/7. And this is all in vain.
So it still doesn't keep it contained.
Breaches are down 43%.
No. That's not really meeting our targets for this quarter. Can we get those at least 15% up, please?
Bro, the flesh that hates is still just running around. So no, not really. I'm just going to be honest with you. That's just not happening. He looks like a rotting zombie, effectively. And this is another one where any power you could think of, he has it. He can phase through walls. He has his own pocket dimension. He has his own material. He can corrode through anything and break almost anything down.
We are not keeping this contained.
No, of course not. No, of course
we
not.
We are not keeping this contained.
Yeah,
if this wants to do a world-ending thing, it just will.
Well, the worst thing about it is it's just a serial killer. That's it. It breaks out to do just that. It goes like Dead by Daylight. It's a Dead by Daylight thing where it just like leaves, puts people in his dimension, and the only way the Foundation gets it back is by putting victims inside the box and tormenting them so that it can hear their screams and go, oh, well, that sounds pleasant, and get back into its cage.
Cool.
Yep.
Just leaving it serial killer bait.
Yep. That's the only way you have to deal with it. That is it. That is all.
That's frightening.
And there's a lot about this guy I can't discuss for obvious reasons. I'm just going to say barbed wire.
I don't like that.
Yep. Not great. There are a couple more classifications above even this, but I'm going to be honest, most of them stay within the realm of these three. I assume
that the beyond this is this is literally a weird fourth dimensional being that basically a god that just torments us.
Yeah, there's a moray eel that is how the Foundation gets all of its mind wipe pills. And that's a level above this.
Okay.
I mean, that's the thing.
Is it just a moray eel? Just keep that thing in a pond, or?
Yeah, a 560-mile long one.
Oh, what?
A 560-mile long moray eel.
A half a United State long pool.
No. It's in the ocean. Okay. They just found it there. The eel is that long. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's just another area they've cordoned off and gone, we're just going to keep patrolling this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
every so often try and knock it out so we can get some extra mind wipe pills.
It doesn't move very much other than to eat. It only really needs to move its head. You don't need to move 500 miles. Come on. At most, you need 100 miles. At most, you need 100 miles.
Yeah.
The rest of this is just to flex, effectively. And its main thing is being around it. So that things can break down your body, right? That just naturally happens. This thing breaks down your mind. Mm-hmm. And so over time you'll slowly start going mad, you will slowly get more nauseous, headaches, you will forget very, very important things such as your mother's name.
It just starts inducing dementia in you.
Yep, you depersonalize, you disassociate, you start remember other people's lives, which is just a whole thing. You spiral into a fugue state, it's bad.
That's dementia plus, I guess.
Yeah. You become paranoid, very, very paranoid, shockingly paranoid, and we don't know why and how it does this. Maybe this is a hunting tactic it got because, think about it, a dementia-addled fish is so much easier to catch than a regular one,
Yeah, fair enough.
Maybe. It could also be this is the actual primordial god of oblivion. We don't know.
Just might be.
Possibly. That's the spectrum it exists within. And the best we can do with it is...
try and keep it in a range of around 100 miles within the Pacific.
Bottle up the slime it makes.
And that. Cool.
It's, yeah. This is the Men in Black, Flash thing?
Mm-hmm.
This is how they get their version of that.
I assume it's just instead of a flash thing, it's a slingshot that just
it's
pops a pill into your mouth.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a pill. And it's really targeted too, because they can it could be anywhere from 5 minutes to 5 years to specific things.
Do they have that dosage down to get that probably?
Yeah.
Okay. There's at least that.
Yeah, they're damn good at this. And then there's obviously the joke category, which is always very, very fun. There's one that is I'm trying to remember what it was. It's an immortal bum, for lack of a better term. And so and this guy went to lengths. He didn't just write a story. He included the voicemails this thing left. And so it'll call the guy in charge of the facility where he was, and he's like, "Hey, yeah, it's me, 001 or whatever. From that time you totally captured me. Yeah, so I'm kind of hard up on some times." And I could really use a couple bucks right now to get back on my feet. I'm good for it. I'm good for it. And we're going to bump into each other again. And there's just so many voicemails of this thing pestering this guy. And it's so good. Another good one is a tablet that, or 6237. It's a tablet that the moment you are exposed to it, you are immediately overly verbose. And the entry is written exactly like that. I'm not talking using a big word, because that is the correct word to use, like, oh, look at him speaking loquaciously, like, that is the correct word there. You're being pretentious.
Yeah.
And that is precisely...
It's not pretentious, it's verbose.
No, it's pretentious. Oh. It's annoying. It's obnoxious. And it's entirely written. It's entirely written like that, from start to finish.
That's funny.
And it even included a joke at the very footnote where they exposed a sticky note that said, "I hate pores" to it, and it bloated into that. A full copy of Atlas Shrugged. I figured you'd enjoy that one. So, the joke ones are pretty good. It's not there anymore, by the way. Like, give credit to Red for finding that, because that is God. Like, he found a backup of the screenshot that had that on there.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my god.
And that's just a couple of them. This isn't even the greatest hits. There's so many. Like, there's several where I was reading about them, and it almost derailed the entire episode, I will not lie. And there's a couple I really wanted to include, but couldn't, because, like, man, oh man, how do you compress some of this? Like, we haven't even touched on the Plague Doctor, the Red Pool. There's a Royal Navy boat that pops up in a fog of water and cerebral spinal fluid. That's just a thing that can happen. There's 5000, which is a suit that shows up with a flash drive plugged in effectively. And, like, when you go through the flash drive, it's the end times. Yeah.
Sorry, Warhammer Fantasy fans.
Sorry. It's so good. I really like that one. That one almost did some damage to this episode. There's so much. So if you guys want more episodes, we can definitely do more episodes. But what did you think of them?
Again, I think this is very fun, and it is so... I'm surprised that I wasn't an SCP kid, honestly. It's so up my edge, just like the weird...
I'm telling you, bro, the Reagan one.
It's very weird core, but also like very internet horror. But I
love it.
It encompasses so many things, and it's like you should play Control. You should really play Control. It's a little bit diet this with some of the stuff that it has, because it doesn't get as creepy as like the extra dimension. I mean, there is an extra dimensional horror, but it's not. It's good. It's just not as in depth as this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, this has been going forever, and there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of entries. So it's impossible to be as in depth as this, frankly.
Yeah.
It's like the one thing with probably more words in it than 40K. If I'm gonna be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think so. Sorry, I had to think about that. I had to think through it real quick, but yeah, I definitely need to give it a try. Also, I did find the SCP I was talking about. It's the Broke God. It's evaded, captured a Toyota Corolla. He's got a church. He's got a church that contributes to him. And they're all convinced he wields great and terrible cosmic power without having the adequate financial planning skills to bring him about. It's so funny.
Are there transcripts of its voicemails?
This guy went, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah.
There's recording.
It's a, hey, Adam. It's me, Mike. Mike Kane. Remember that one time we met when you contained me? Yeah. I know it's not a super great look. Yeah.
But hey, look at me now,
he's just a divine bum. He's the divine bum. I love it. It's so much fun. But that does bring an end to this episode. As always, thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for being you.